What's up, guys? Welcome to a Vibe Call West Radio. Today we have a really special episode. I have my family friend, my cousin, and a really young guy that's not only establishing himself as one of the most creative and ambitious young guys I've seen in this game, but also a crazy talented just musician in general. So give it up for Imdru. What's up, man?
Thank you for the kind words, man. It's a pleasure to be here. This is awesome, dude.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
This is dope, man. I'm really excited. This is definitely a long time coming. And,
for sure.
You know, I just want to say, like, right off the bat, when I was getting back, you know, after the pandemic into making music, I learned a lot from you passively. Just like
really?
Watching the way that you were interacting on Instagram and TikTok with that. So I want to give you your flowers right there.
Thank you.
Let's kind of break down a little bit of the journey just in the beginning. Then I have some questions for you, but kind of map out how did we get to this point?
Okay, so honestly, I would say that growing up, music was something that always meant a lot to me. I was always creating, whether it was like writing songs in my room or I would it's so stupid, but I would make like YouTube videos of me like singing like covers to like other songs when I was like super young, and I would post them on YouTube, and like they were god awful, obviously, but you know, I was doing that, and like I just had like such a big interest in music always. Like I played the guitar. When I was 7 years old, my grandma got me this red guitar that I still have in my bedroom to this day.
I was gonna ask you that. Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I play guitar, tried piano for a little bit, drums for a little bit. I also played the tuba for a little bit. And then, so, you know, after kind of that point, I got into acting, stuff like that. And then around 2012, after Hurricane Sandy, moved to Florida. And I kind of like lost touch with, you know, my musical side of things. And I'd say like I kind of picked it back up towards like middle school.
Yeah.
And shout out Chris, because me and Chris were like started back up at the same time.
Yeah, and really quick, he's pointing to. So he has actually 3 of his friends in town with him right now. So he's just not pointing into the ether. His friends are.
Yeah.
His friends are on the couch right now.
Yeah. So around I think it was like 7th grade. Started getting back into music, started making beats, started listening to a lot of lyrical guys like Logic, J. Cole, Gambino, Kendrick, you know, all those dudes. And that's what really inspired me to kind of get back into rapping. So I started with the production side of things and kind of slowly, you know, maneuvered my way into the vocal side of things. And I'd say around the pandemic is kind of where things picked up for me. I kind of started to take it more seriously. So I started, you know, getting into more of that melodic kind of sound, experimenting with it a little bit. And that kind of led me to make, you know, spending like, you know, with these guys over here, like I was pointing to before, we would spend, you know, weekend after weekend just like cooking up different songs in each other's rooms, shitty ass studios with terrible mics, and we were just having fun with it. And like over time, you know, I kind of just got a little bit better here and there, and that led me to putting out my first song. And after that, I kind of was just like, you know what, why don't I just do this? Because I've always had such an interest in music, and it's always been something that I've been really passionate about. So why not put this music out? Because, you know, you never know what's going to happen. And that leads me up to here, where I've kind of just been, you know, doing my thing, putting out music and kind of putting out different content on TikTok and YouTube and music videos and stuff like that. And it's resonating with the people. So I'm super excited for what I got coming this year. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, you know, thanks for outlining that in a really linear way. That, you know, I feel like that's a very, you know, everyone wants to know the hero's journey and like, you know, how, you know, the rookie becomes the vet, or, you know, the, you know, apprentice becomes the master. So I'm really happy that you outlined that. I want to go back. So it seems like since from, you know, you were a child, from the red guitar, it's like music was something that you gravitated towards. What do you think it was about music that separated from other forms of medium like TV or movies or, you know, acting more? Like, what was it about music, would you say?
I think the thing with music is that it's something where, you know, you can express yourself through acting, but when you're expressing yourself through music, it's kind of like you can put your full true self out into the world and kind of like say things that you wouldn't be able to speak. That's kind of how I look at it. And it's also just like it was always an outlet for me to get to get out my problems. Like I've always had bad anxiety, depression, and that's always just kind of been there for me. And I can't really explain why, because we don't know why, but it's just music is one of those things where it just you feel it in your soul.
Who was the first artist that you fell in love with, would you say?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Not like physically, but like
yeah,
musically. Maybe physically, I don't even know. There's some really beautiful girls.
There are, but I say the first artist that I truly like connected with as a young kid was Mac Miller, because
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. One of the GOATs in my opinion. And I feel like I just connected with him because growing up, how I grew up, I obviously didn't live the toughest life, but Mac Miller in kind of his early years showed what it was like just to be a kid and like just living life and having fun, and that's kind of what I connected with. And then obviously in his later years, he was very more all about like mental health and stuff like that, which really still connected with me. But I don't know why. It's just his music really connected with me right off the bat. Besides him, I'd say, Drake is an obvious one.
Mm-hmm. There's a name in the wall we have right there.
Yeah, just naming everyone on the wall. And then kind of like growing up, it was like more Logic. Logic was a big one, huge one.
Shout out Rat Pack.
Yeah, shout out the Rat Pack. Incredible True Story. I know that album from top to bottom.
Production's amazing on that album.
Amazing production. You could test me on it. Don't test me on it. I probably won't get every lyric, but that album. And also Justin Bieber is always a big one, because he kind of just didn't really give a. Can I curse on here?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
He didn't really
fuck pussy. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah, you can say.
He just like didn't give a fuck. Like these people calling him like names and stuff and making fun of him, but honestly he was just doing what he loved, and he was a leader. So I respect that.
Definitely. I think you named some incredible names. I kind of want to go back to Mac Miller for a second, because there's certain artists that have the ability to not only gain a fan base but grow and change with each project.
Yeah.
You have Kanye, you have Tyler the Creator, as Childish Gambino, like you named. Those are a couple. But Mac Miller had a very special ability to change and completely convey a new, sonic direction with each album. Like, why do you think he was able to do that? Or like, do you think that's like one of the reasons why you like him so much?
Yeah, I would say I think that's a big reason why I like him, and I think it's also just over time, as you mature and as you grow, you start to realize that you have other things to talk about other than partying and stuff like that.
Kool-Aid and frozen pizza.
Yeah, Kool-Aid and frozen pizza.
There's more to life than Kool-Aid.
There is more to life.
That's a classic record. I love that record.
But at the time, that's the life that he was living. So I feel like each album is it's a different. Every album is where his head's at when he's making that album. So, when he was making Kids, Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza, that's where he was at. But, when you start to get to like, more darker albums like Swimming, well, it's not dark, but
yeah, but it's comparatively,
you start to, get a look into like his headspace at that time. And it's a lot different. So the music's going to sound different.
Mm-hmm. And, going back to your journey a little bit, so you started off with production. What were you producing on?
I was producing on Logic. I started on Logic Pro. I started on GarageBand, as a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Then moved to Logic. Got actually the cracked version on my mom's computer from Austin.
Hell yeah. Shout out Austin.
Shout out Austin.
That's my roommate, one of my best friends. So yeah.
Yeah. So I got the cracked version. Was playing around with it. Eventually moved over to FL Studio, and I've kind of just been on there since.
What would you say is like advice to someone that's looking to get into production at an early age? Because you were young when you were first producing, 15 or 16. I remember.
Yeah.
What's advice that you could give to a young producer? Like, what should the first steps be in your opinion?
I think the first step is to just obviously, figure out what software you want to use, but then also just have at it, like every day, just make a new beat every day. Because, a lot of people have like this stigma that they want to just, have like the best like beats and the best music and stuff like that. But you can't just have the best beats when you're first starting out. Like you have to put in the time. It's really all about reps. Like you just got to keep on doing it every day. Keep on making beats, and experimenting too. That's a big thing.
Were you when you're producing? How are you learning new stuff with producing when you were back in the day? Were you just going on YouTube, or were you like how are you finding your new information?
So I think most of it was through YouTube. Honestly, I feel like that's for like a lot of people. But also I was picking up like bits and pieces as I went.
And also to add on to that question, I want you to speak on that. And also, how much has YouTube helped you as a learning platform just in general?
Yeah. So YouTube is, if you're a musician out there watching this and you don't know where to start, like YouTube is your best friend. Literally everything you need to know is on YouTube. It's amazing. And I think without YouTube, there wouldn't be a lot of musicians out there right now, because it's really like such a great tool that we have. And a lot of people take it for granted. So, why not use it to your advantage?
What are some channels and or outlets that you use on YouTube?
Like YouTube channels?
Yeah, like who are
different
some
YouTube channels?
Yeah.
Back in the day, like I don't watch YouTube as much anymore, but like back in the day, like some like producers on like YouTube. I mean, obviously Internet Money and Nick Mira, those dudes. Who else? Oh man, Chris, can you help me out here with this one? Yeah. Oh, KBZ. Yeah. Cody.
What about like Aesthetic Sounds and all those people?
So you're saying like,
and also like the outlets they use on YouTube.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, now, okay, yeah. So, a lot of those dudes are really nice people, and their goal is to help artists, just starting out, who want to grow a fan base, and I think it's a really great idea if you're an upcoming artist or producer to get tapped in with some of these underground YouTube channels in your niche, because these connections are the connections that really matter, especially when you're first starting out and you're trying to grow that initial fan base. It's a key to it. Connections are everything, and it's a lot of these dudes build up these platforms for people like us to, use it to our advantage. So, it's really dope.
Yeah, I mean, like, you've been a really good model of, like, networking and, like, figuring out ways to find good, authentic people. So I wanted you to speak on that. But let's go a little bit back to now. So you're producing. What does that step look like for you to become a songwriter? Where does the switch happen?
Oh, that's a good question. Because I feel like it wasn't just, like, one day where, like, I flipped the switch. It was kind of, like, happened, like, over time. I would always like experiment a little bit with songwriting and recording vocals. I would say kind of like, around like that 2020 time, kind of made like the full switch, because honestly I was producing and my beats were like subpar. So I was like, you know what, let me give it a try rapping or singing and see what I can do. But I feel like it's like a very thin line between producer and songwriter, because I still produce a lot to this day, and it's something that I still feel is really important to me.
Definitely. And with regards to the evolution of producer into songwriter, what was the first song that you wrote that you were like, wow, I'm very, very proud of this?
Oh, that's a good question.
You're like last week. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. I mean, like at the time, like there's a lot of songs where I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like my mind's blown.
But I even want those moments. Like when did that happen? How far into it would you say?
Like I would say like Yeah, like kind of around that 2020 mark, like I was making some songs. Like the first song that I ever put out, it was called Nerve, and it was, listening back, it was so bad, but me and all my friends were like geeking out over it because we were like, yo, like this is like crazy, like this is mind blowing.
Well, you made it.
Yeah.
It's like your baby, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
It's like you have a different level of attachment. And like really quick, the thing that like sometimes annoys me, and actually, you know, my dad gave me this really good advice, and I know other people have probably said it, but like especially when you create something, it's like to you it's a success.
Mm-hmm.
And then sadly, I think a lot of times as artists we let other people influence our perception of what we've created.
Yep.
So, and you know, I always work on, especially with regards to social media and comments and likes, is like, you don't want to let anyone else define the value that you put into something. So
100%.
even though it might not have been the greatest song ever, it still was, even though it was like your first song and you guys were geeking, it's like, it still was a success. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. And like, even if like the song was bad, it was still a major stepping stone into where I am today. So, you know, it plays a big role. And you know, nowadays I also make like songs that I think are amazing. And then like, I kind of like feel like I let other people dictate the success of that song. And, you know, that's not how it should be. 'Cause, you know, at the end of the day, these songs, like you said, are our babies. And we put a lot of time into it, and it's a reflection of ourselves. So, you know, we should be proud that we're even able to get that out there because most people can't.
Literally, I mean, like, you know, even like a couple years ago before these distro companies, like you couldn't put something on Spotify unless you had a label.
Yep.
So it's like, you know, I think sometimes we take for granted just how accessible and how amazing it is, like for someone across the world, even if it's one stream, to listen to your song. It's that's a success.
It's mind blowing, man. It's really mind blowing, and it's something that inspires me every day because you know, I get messages on whether it's on Instagram or I see people on YouTube or TikTok like oh, I'm listening in from like Australia. Like, you know, if I were to tell myself like a couple years ago that I'd have people listening to my music from Australia, I would have been like, yo, like what the fuck?
You'd be ecstatic.
Yeah, I would be so excited. So it's something that's just super cool. And you know, it's, even if it's one person listening, it really is truly amazing to me because, you know, it's just, you put music out there and you don't really expect anything from it. And then you hear people who are actually inspired by what you do. And it really is one of the best feelings you could ever have. Honestly.
Definitely. And you know, it comes from your mind and your heart. So you're like, you know, you created this thing with the help of a lot of people, the producers, you know, I have an amazing team. You have an amazing team. They help, but it comes from your mind. So it really is a blessing. Yeah. So then you go from producer to artist. And when did you feel like, oh, like I feel like legit now, like, you know, because there definitely was a switch in your life. Like what did that moment feel like, and what made you feel like that?
So I feel like kind of let me think because that's a good question.
Yeah, you're good. By the way, this is sponsored by McDonald's. If you use the code 20, I'm joking.
Imagine. Sponsored by McDonald's. Let me get a free Big Mac.
Yeah, literally. Promo code Big Mac BIGMA. Now go. Kevin, you can cut that. That went too long. All right.
Okay, so when I felt like I kind of was like I felt things kind of becoming legit. Were kind of when I met my manager, and that was a big.
What's his name?
Liam Murphy.
Shout out Liam Murphy.
Shout out Liam. He's an amazing guy. And kind of at that point, I was like, you know, other people really believe in what I'm doing too, and that kind of gave me the confidence to start putting out more and more music. And I'd say around last year, when I started to see some success online, with like my songs like "Give Me the Title Now" and "Beverly Hills," that kind of like put me into like this headspace where I was like, you know what, like no matter what anybody else says, like I've already done so much, which means that I can accomplish endless things, endless possibilities. So kind of, you know, around like the past couple years, it's kind of just been, you know, like building up like more and more confidence, kind of me being like, you know what, like I feel like this is something that is meant for me. So,
You know, and at such a young age,
yeah.
you know, and the great part about growth a lot is that it's exponential.
Yeah.
You know, as the followers and the likes and the views, they increase.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're doing it right,
Mm-hmm.
naturally.
Yeah.
So now you're feeling like you're an established artist in your own right, like to yourself, and you're moving with that confidence. What does a day in the life of an up and coming artist on TikTok and Spotify and Instagram look like? Like, what does that look like for you?
So it depends on the day. Obviously, some days aren't crazy exciting.
On a productive day.
On a productive day. Usually I'll wake up pretty early, go to the gym, work out, because that's, you know,
You have to, yeah.
you have to. You got to make sure your mental's right before you start creating. Work out, eat a nice breakfast, and then open up my computer. You know, I'll kind of see what the plans are for today. Start, you know, brainstorming some TikTok ideas for the day. I try and get those done like early in the morning so I could just knock them out.
How many TikToks do you try and film on a productive day in one day?
I'd say maybe like 2 to 3, because like sometimes it's annoying putting too much work into TikTok, and you don't want to put too much work into TikTok because people can tell when you do too much, per se. But I'd say like I do like 2 to 3, and kind of let's see what else do I do in a day.
When does the songwriting come in?
You know, it's weird because like songwriting is one of those things where it's like I will have ideas come to me like throughout random times in the day. Like I'll be in my car driving to singing lessons, because I mean during a productive day I'm going to singing lessons. I'm taking guitar lessons. And you know,
I love that. That's
trying
awesome.
to hone my craft.
Yeah.
But you know, whether it's in like the car on the way to lessons or even in like the shower, like things will just randomly come to me, or like a line or a word or a phrase that like I feel like could be a really cool song idea. So I'll open up my voice memos on my phone and start singing a melody, and kind of go from there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, throughout the day, like I'll go to the studio, at some point later in the day, go with my boys for a couple hours and really try and make something special. And you know, on an ideal day, on an ideal productive day, maybe I'll have a show later in the night and go perform.
Your last show looked amazing though, by the way.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
100%. Really quick though, I say the word TikTok artist. What do you feel?
It's like one of those things where you hate when people try and like classify you or try and put you in like a box. But like there's no really such thing as a TikTok artist. I think of TikTok as more of like just like it's a tool to get your music out there, and it's not so much like you can be like a TikTok artist. Like what does that even mean? Like what are the requirements to be a TikTok artist? Does it mean that you just have to post TikToks? Because if that's the case, then you know everybody's a TikTok artist.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's just I feel like indifferent about it.
Yeah, I think it's like, you know, the reason why I ask is because I think, especially as an artist, sometimes it's so hard. Like you were saying, you don't want to focus too much on TikTok, but you can be, you know, you view other people and you're like, oh my God, they have X amount of views, they have followers and likes and engagement, and you know, then you chase that because it is a really organic way to get a fan base. Yeah. You know, because me and you talk about this a lot, and you know, what do you see with regards to like the content that you create? Like, what do you think performs well on TikTok?
So I've seen personally, when you're not trying to play a character in a way is when your TikToks do the best. Because people could smell the bullshit. People know when you're being your true self or not. You know, you get people, it kind of depends on the video, I'd say. But like, yeah, like when you're like just like being yourself, and thinking of like creative ideas to incorporate your music into trending content, that's when the videos do the best. Because
give an example.
All right, so let's say like, all right, so let's say a song's trending, right? So for example, I found that one song, great song by Natalie Jane. It's called Ava,
Shout out Natalie. She's very talented.
Shout out Natalie.
Amazing voice.
Yeah,
amazing voice.
yeah, she's really dope.
Come on the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, but that song was trending at the time, and I was like, yo, this song is sick. Is there a way that I could take this song that's trending and take this content that she's putting out and put my own twist on it to kind of, you know, still have people interested, but also sprinkle a little bit of like my own like promotion in there in like a way. So I ended up putting a little remix like verse onto it, and the video went fucking crazy viral.
How many views did it get?
Combined with like everything, probably over 10 million, which is crazy.
It's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Like between like different videos, different platforms and stuff. Which was like a crazy moment for me because that was like my first like taste of like viralness.
Yeah.
And like once you taste it, you want it again and again. But yeah, it's like doing something like that. Like that song was trending. I kind of scouted it out a little bit before and saw that nobody else was kind of doing that yet, and decided to put my own little twist on it, and you know, had people tag her in the comments. She saw it, she duetted the video, and it was just awesome. Like stuff like that is really, as an upcoming artist, because people don't really care about your music. You have to give them a reason to care, and if people care about her, right? People care about her. Incorporate something that you do into something that they like. Does that make sense?
100%.
So
it's the name of the game. It's
yeah.
like you have to like nowadays, like we talk about it, there's just so much content that these people are being fed. You almost have to like trick them into listening to your song.
Exactly.
Like you can't just be like, I'm like, you know, I totally do this where it's just like, you know, rapping to the camera.
Yeah.
And I consider myself a pretty like solid artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know like it's good, but it's like it needs to be more than that. It needs to be engaging with what they like. You're right. Completely.
Exactly. And also like if it's just like a video, I've seen like videos that have something slightly wrong with them are ones that tend to do really well because it gets people to comment, and that triggers the algorithm. So like if like you take a video of you like just rapping, but you just kind of switch the locations like every couple seconds, and also like have something not like controversial, but something to like get people talking
in the comments. Like
if it's like something going on in like the background, like let's say like somebody's like, I don't know, like somebody's like doing a handstand in the background and they fall and hit their head or something, or
yeah, just something ridiculous.
I don't know. Yeah, something ridiculous. Like people will stay tuned if they see that in the video, which it sucks because, you know, you really just want to promote your music and you know your music is good, but people don't care about that now. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Well, I think like eventually they do. I think in the beginning.
Eventually, exactly.
I think once they buy into the person and like, you know, you grow with their music because, you know, Kendrick's able to take 5 years off music and then drop an album with no social media, but that's only because it's Kendrick and he has the catalog and his brand. But so I agree. But in the beginning, it's like they have to care more about the story.
Yep.
You know, I speak with Kevin about this all the time, and he actually just recently had a video do well. Kevin's my video guy. Shout out Kevin. He had a story that he told in his video, and it did better than his other videos because, you know, he's an amazing photographer, but there's 1,000 amazing photographers, but no one is Kevin and has his story.
Yep.
If they identify with Kevin's story, then it's perfect.
Exactly. It's really about the story. People want to connect to you as an artist before they connect to your music.
Because there's 1,000 people that, you know, do something similar, even though I think everyone is unique in that way. Yeah. And like, so really quick, you know, like me and you talked about this off camera when you first came here this week, like talk about the difference in an artist that you see that wants to, at our size, that wants to collaborate and one that doesn't collaborate, and like what is the outcomes that you see with those two people?
Yeah, so I see a lot of artists whose growth unfortunately is stunted because they're not willing and not open to doing different things with different artists and producers. And you know, music's built up on collaboration, and to me, I make the best songs when I'm working with other people rather than just doing it all alone, because you know, it's good to have an extra set of ears listening in and different ideas. And, you know, I don't know. I feel like the artist who collaborates will always prevail. And, you know, if you're a likable person and, you know, you're making good music, with other people, it's going to be even better.
'Cause they have a reason to like promote it, show their friends, show
Exactly.
their fans. Collaboration posts on Instagram are king.
Exactly.
Literally,
Exactly.
you're cross-pollinating. And like my favorite album of all time, one of the best albums is, even though Kanye's a little controversial, I don't care. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy
Yep.
was created in a Hawaii studio with like 20 different of our favorite artists.
Yeah.
Each day, sitting down talking about what's gonna happen, what happened yesterday, what's gonna happen today, what's gonna happen tomorrow, all doing it at the same time.
Yeah. And it really does make for better music, honestly. Some of my biggest songs are collaborations. And
Claw Machine.
Yeah, Claw Machine with Killbunk, Beverly Hills with Bryce C. Those are like two of like my bigger songs, and like, they're collaborations. And I feel like to take that next step, like, you have to work with other people too, because you can't just be in your head as an artist. Because as an artist, everybody thinks they're amazing, everybody thinks they're great, but you need outside opinion. You need other people to come in and be like, you know what, this line was okay, but maybe like change it to something like this. Like, obviously that's just like a small example, but like,
that's how it happens.
Yeah.
Shout out The Rewind. We have a song together with Nick Caution. Shout out Nick Caution. Like, that's one of my favorite songs. And like, that's you coming in, helping with the hook, and like just like adding to those vocals and making it, because I'm not a singer, so you came in and added those layers and took the melody.
Yep.
And like that's one of my favorite songs, one of the biggest songs. So shout out both of you guys on that. And then really quick, Kevin, how long have we been going for?
34 minutes.
Okay, perfect. All right. And then, really quick, could you, before I kind of let everyone know what you're working on this year, could you spit some bars a cappella for us, like that you've prepared?
Yeah, I could.
Yeah, please.
All right. Putting me on the spot. Let's see.
You got it.
All right. I'm the man of the hour, let's get it poppin' right. I'm not gonna stop until my name is up in flashing lights. Try and take me down, but I ain't going down without a fight. Better know my name after this, I don't wanna say it twice. It's Imdru, kicking this shit to you. Ripping and never slipping, I'm gripping the mic with fumes. They tripping if they think I'ma deliver less than real. Just watch me teach a lesson, I'ma tell you how I feel. I'm sick of other rappers who try and cover my spot, thinking that they the man firsthand. I know they not, cause everybody fake and don't even put in the work for it. Put me up against anybody, I'll win the tournament. Cha-ching, my money counter keep on multiplying. It's funny people who hate me are being so compliant. Yeah, I'm standing at the top of the hill. They sweet and sour while I'm out here signing all these deals for real.
Hell yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
First off, rhyme scheme's fire.
Thank you.
And also like just the breath control and like the vocal, just volume that you were pushing, like I could tell that you like practiced and that you're trained that. So that sounded great, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%, man. I also love the last line, and I really do, I'm a big fan of yours just on a personal level, artistic level. So, man.
Likewise.
I appreciate that, man. What do you got going on this year that you could tell everyone?
Ooh, got some big things this year. We're actually, I'm out in LA right now, filming a music video that's coming out soon for a song that has a title.
Who's filming that video?
We got JRD filming the video. JRD in here, one of my best friends. He's filming the video, but it's for a song about a city in LA, which if you know my music, you probably know. I'm not going to say it, but, it's okay. Yeah. And then, just more shows, shows. I want to play more shows with my live band. Super dope, more music, more collaborations. I have some dope collaborations coming out at the end of this month and next month with two really big artists. So be on the lookout for that. And hopefully just, more blessings. That's it.
I'm really excited for just to see it all grow. I want to get your boys up here though. I want you guys to come up, man, and say your guys' name into the mic so we can get them a little bit of exposure as well, man. Because,
give them their flowers.
If you're family, they're all family for me. So I want you guys to come up here.
What's going on? I'm Chris, aka Caster4K on SoundCloud. I've been Drew's fan and like friend for such a long time, like since middle school. We've been making music forever, and it's only going up. And I'm excited to see what's next. Let's go.
Sir.
I'm Jared, also known as JRD on all platforms. I am Drew's friend, and I do music videos, I just got to shout out Drew and Carter. Carter treats us like family. So we just met him.
Of course, man. Got you guys.
Shout out everyone here.
Kev. Yeah.
Kevin. W videographer in the chat.
Last but not least.
Shout out everyone. My name's Simon. I also go by Kid Sim. But yeah, can't appreciate the hospitality more. And about Drew, I mean, he's the boy, collaborator, everything. He's crazy.
What's up, guys? I'm GRANDVIEW. I want to give a big shout out to Drew for coming on the pod and bringing his entire crew, man. They're all very talented, all super dope, all looking like super Gen Z compared to me, which is hilarious. Yeah. It's just like the cast of Stranger Things up here. Yeah. But man, we're gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna go upstairs. We're gonna go upstairs, man, and we're gonna make this song. Shout out, I'm Drew. Please check him out on all platforms. Check out the rest of these people. And man, Vibe Call West, done.
This a Lost Souls pop, a reject tune, an outcast anthem, a teen spirit groove. What are you looking to find? We're clever on your tongue and charisma in your eyes. Loyalty's a must of all, love is blind. You teach me how to trust, I'll teach you how to survive. In a critic hate speech, a bit of cynics hate screechers in a liver aged, weak and ego, need to see truth. I'm LA's next chosen one. The pressure follows me like a shadow from the sun. A quest to find self, while stress denies health. And our social skills are dead unless the drink helps. I declare, is our millennium's fate. Anxious anti eyes lay upon each face. Who thought I'd be the one to create a tectonic shift when I surface